mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Hey, check out my new tag team, baby, Monte the Pharaoh.
Hey, Jimmy, don't forget to tell them about Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Well, you know what, I would, but you already did it.
It's Monte the Pharaoh. With Monte and Pharaoh.
The Monte and Pharaoh Show.
Monte and Pharaoh, bro.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Monte and the Pharaoh.
The Monte and Pharaoh Show.
And you're watching the Monte and Pharaoh Show.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
With Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
And Monte and the Pharaoh. Oh, is it Monte and the Pharaoh?
Yeah.
Monte and Pharaoh.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show.
Monte and the Pharaoh. To the Monte and the Pharaoh Show. And it's Monte and the Pharaoh, baby.
Watching Monte and the Pharaoh.
With Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Oh, what a run.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Hey, cut the fucking music. When you want the best in professional wrestling, Long Island, there's only one place you're going to get it, right here.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. That, my friends, is just incredible. Monte and the Pharaoh.
You've got the future Hall of Famer, that rocker, Marty Jannetty, MJ in the house, and I'm sitting here with two more future Hall of Famers, Monte and the Pharaoh. We're doing that stuff and we gonna rock it.
Straight to the top. We're living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live a better way.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast out of Indie Music TV here out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. At the board is our super producer, Matt. Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. And you?
We're doing fantastic. To my right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
What up, partner? Back again.
You hurt your back?
Yeah, man, yeah, a little bit. I can handle myself, though, as we know, so don't worry
You're
about
looking
that.
a little buff.
Oh, thank you.
All
You know,
right.
Isometrics, like Andrew Anderson said.
You ain't kidding, man.
That's right.
Pharaoh, I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte and the Pharaoh, Aqua Cherry. They sing Straight to the Top, the Monte and the Pharaoh theme song. You could also catch their other songs, such as Yes, Yes, Forever and Seasons. Aqua Cherry's music can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Reverb Nation, or where music is sold. The outro music is done by our very own Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh with his partner Bart Griggs from the wonderful band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall has songs such as In My Dreams, our outro song, Not Far Behind, and you can catch them on Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation. Monte and the Pharaoh, Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, can be seen on YouTube, Facebook Live on the Monte and the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, RTF Sports Network every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. Channel 115. Yes, that's cable television.
That's right.
Tuesday, 8:30 at night till 9 p.m. The revised version of
That's
our
right.
show.
All sparkly and shiny.
And every Saturday morning from 6:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I got that wrong.
Is it 6?
Is it
Either
6?
way, this
6
is when I usually pass out. but
6
go
to
on.
6:30 on Channel 115. Real quick before we get to our special guest, Jimmy and I would like to take a moment to show respect for the people who have lost their lives and the people in the front line during this time of crisis. All right, Will, we want to welcome our special guest, Hall of Famer, pro wrestler, WWE, NWA, WCCW. The list is long. Before we get to that special guest, Mr. Tony Atlas, we're just going to take a quick commercial break. Be right back. Back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV right here in Ronkonkoma, New York. Holy cow, I didn't think we were going to get to this guy. Mr. USA Tony Atlas, we have not seen him since the big event, which we worked the gimmick table at the M&P table with superstar, UWF superstar, Mr. Sonny Beach. Then Corona hit, and bam, here we are.
Did you know that was going to be our last meal, like normal meal, when we were? Where did we go, Tony? We went someplace to eat, and I didn't realize it'd be the last time I'd be sitting in public with other people.
Tony, do you remember what we ate that day?
He ate everything. I remember that.
You took me to several places. One of the places was we get sushi. Another place we had a great burgers.
Oh, how there's Zimburger, right?
That's right. Yeah, they're fantastic. The best hamburgers I've ever had in my life. I mean, nice, thick, juicy burgers. You know, great atmosphere. Wonderful, wonderful. Long Island got a lot of great restaurants, you know, where you go and eat food. I'll be glad when things get back to normal so I could go and
So, wait a minute. You had wonderful sushi. You had tons of octopus.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had Zimburger, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I think we ate at Boston Market. We had ribs and chicken.
At the Boston Market,
Yeah.
that's right.
And guess what? Corona hits, and then you have a deli sandwich today.
He got a deli sandwich?
Yeah, that's what he got, a deli sandwich. And some antipasta.
You did all right.
Pastrami with mustard and sauerkraut.
You did all right. I had 2 peanut butter sandwiches today. He's getting a deli sandwich?
I was going to bring him to La Familia, get him a little chicken parm, some spaghetti, and he was getting angry. He's like, I got to eat.
Did you see his face when he walked in here tonight?
Tony, we're at our new studio, Indie Music TV, a real TV station. Tell me your thoughts. What are you thinking?
This station is the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, often imitated but never duplicated.
Nice.
Wow.
He was pretty impressed.
So if you compare it to that other station...
Not even close.
Not even close.
No, this is...
So if this is a tower of power...
This is the top of the mountain, and that is the bottom of the basement.
It is a little bit.
It's like moving from the basement of somebody living in a basement apartment, and all of a sudden you move...
Like the Jeffersons.
Well, like the Beverly Hillbilly.
Hillbilly. You're going to call us Hill. All right.
You got the log cabin out in Tennessee somewhere, and then all of a sudden you move to the big mansion.
He gave us a honky analogy. You're going for the Jeffersons, and he gives us the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine.
So it's like, well, how does it go? Like the Beverly Hillbillies, like, yo, bro, don't leave, and then we're like, up.
No, that's cheek and charm. That is cheek and charm.
All right. Anyway, enough of that. Enough joking aside.
Yeah, please.
Tony, you're looking great.
Thank you, my friend.
What are you doing to protect yourself against Corona, my friend?
Well, like I was pretty lucky. I was raised in a generation where the parents was in charge of my diet, not the kids in charge. So if all y'all my age or younger, remember your mom always said, eat your veggies. Well, there's a reason for eating veggies. 50% of the human body should consume 50% should be fruit and veggie, 30% veggie, 20% fruit. What that do is build one immune system. They had not the coronavirus, but they had virus on this earth for many years. In 1918, a virus hit the world. It killed 50 million people. One of the reasons why some people catch it and some people don't, it all boils down to your immune system. See, God gave every animal protection, and we got what's called an immune system, an antibody that fights any cold, flu, or anything that hit us. But when your immune system falls, then you become more susceptible to diseases. And most, if you look at most people, people don't eat veggies no more. You see, veggies where you get your vitamins, your minerals, your enzymes. So really, Americans are overweight and undernourished. They have vitamin deficiency. So if you increase your immune system, it gives you a chance where your body could fight back. And most people's body are not strong. That's why it hurts the elderly more so. And then now they found out it's not just the elderly. A lot of young kids are catching the virus because young kids, if you look at an average child, that when they eat nothing but macaroni and cheese. They eat pasta. They eat bread. They eat protein. And very few kids eat veggies because the parents put the menu in the hands of the child not in the hands of the parent. In my day, when my parents used to tell us, eat your veggies, eat your veggies. And that's why America grew up to be big, strong people. And you notice now the people today don't look like the people they did, even in the wrestling world. When you look at guys in my day, how big and strong and rugged looking they are, compared to the guys that they got now, they're not as big, they're not as strong looking. You know, you got records like Ken Patero set a record back in the 70s that nobody broke. I hold the main state bench press record right now today. Nobody broke it. Because you don't have the same type of people today that you had then, because most of us are undernourished. So nutrition is the way to fight this virus. You got to be healthy and you build your immune system up. And you go on the computer and they tell you all the foods you can eat to help rebuild your immune system. But people don't eat veggies. If you don't eat veggies, you're going to be immune to a lot more illness and a lot more sickness in the future.
Tony, obviously.
But this is not going to be the last virus that hit us.
No.
It's not.
I mean, you obviously look fantastic. Is it exclusively diet? Is it the combination of diet, exercise? How about mental wellness? How about, positive thinking? Does this all come into play?
Well, you see, your food got a lot to do with your mental capacity.
Fair.
Like, for example, if you're on a sugar high, sugar lifts you up real high. Then it drops you twice as low as you were before you intook the sugar, which make you moody.
So that's what the Twinkies are doing.
That's well.
What the frick?
Don't eat Twinkies.
The body is starving for that sugar high.
Okay.
It's kind of like a cocaine addict. You know, he's fantastic while he's sniffing. While he got his dope. He's fantastic. But as soon as he started running out of it, that's when there's a coming down that called the wrestling. And that's why kids are so irritable now, because the mother give them all that. See, when you give a child macaroni and cheese, you know what, you give them sugar. Because macaroni and cheese, it's carbohydrate, which is glucose, which turn to sugar in the body. So it hypes these kids up. They run it 100 miles per hour, and then they go from 100 miles an hour down to 10 miles an hour in a matter of seconds and make them moody. But if you eat the right food, there's food to help stimulate the brain, to build the bones, to build the joint. God put everything on earth for man to keep man healthy, and it's up to man to look up these things to keep himself healthy.
How much have
like even Pharaoh know this? Monte told me the other day. He said the reason things are like that is because people, genetics and immune system are not as strong as they were in the older days, because our eating habits have changed a lot. When we ate in the older days, we ate fresh food. I asked Nikolai Volkov one time, I said, what is the main thing you had to get used to about living in America? And I was surprised by his answer. He told me, getting used to eating stale meat. You buy a steak, bright red. Well, they tell you to wash your food off before you cook it, right? And you take that steak and you stick it underneath the water. Right away it turned brown.
Yeah.
It's not fresh. It's hard to get fresh meat. Because, like, let's say you buy ham. That ham was killed in April in North Carolina, and you got it on your table 6 months later in Maine.
I'm going to stick to Twinkies. This sounds terrible. I don't want a ham from April.
Tony, have you ever eaten a Twinkie in your life?
Yeah,
Yes.
you have.
Get out. You have?
Oh, yeah.
A whole box, too, probably,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I eat
There you go.
sweets.
You got the munchies.
Yeah, but it's a
after smoking
Twinkie,
with the
dude.
Pharaoh.
Like, who eats a Twinkie?
What?
Twinkies good as hell. I eat Twinkies.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know how long it takes for a Twinkie to rot? Like, if you put it,
Now I'm not going to want Twinkies.
it takes like 40 years for a Twinkie to, like,
Not,
Is that what they removed during my surgery?
well,
All
I tell you,
Twinkies?
I tell you, when I eat a
Oy.
Twinkie and I blow it out my butt, it felt like it only been there overnight, but it felt like it been laying around for 100 years.
That's
Good thing you
it
didn't have
It
some
been there overnight,
chocodiles.
brother.
I don't know. We were doing that virtual meet and greet, and I smell a few Twinkies while I was in the room with you.
But you see, when I
like
say
green fog.
50, as long as 50% of your diet is fruit and veggies,
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, there's room in there for Twinkies. There's room in there for protein. There's room in there for carbohydrate. I just say half of what you eat, 50%, should be fruit and veggies. It's a balance. You know, nobody could go strictly on just fruit and veggies. Nobody could go strictly
Right.
on just protein and carbohydrate.
Right.
A human, always think of a human body as a car.
Yeah.
Most people that get a car, they just put gas in it. They just keep putting gas in it. 1 year later, they get a little knock under the hood. They don't know what it is. Well, they ain't changed the oil in a year. So it mess with the motor.
Right.
Some people, they on a hot day, they turn the air conditioner on. The air conditioner ain't working too good. They didn't put no antifreeze in it. One day you're driving down the interstate, all of a sudden the car overheat. You didn't put no antifreeze in. You didn't put no Freon in it for the air conditioner. You know, a car. My mother had a saying: anything you don't want, if you don't want it, just don't take care of it. You won't have it long. You know, if anything
totally
you don't
right.
want. And so what happened?
So wait a minute. You're trying to tell me if I don't pay attention to my wife, she'll divorce me?
What?
Your wife is a wonderful woman. Leave her alone. She's gonna come down here and kick the crap out of you.
You are like the biggest fan of my wife.
No, because one thing I learned by being old. You're got
old?
When it comes to women.
That's like 20.
Guys, all you men out here, if you want to have a happy wife, happy life.
Okay.
It is better to be happy than to be right.
Okay.
It's true.
You
I'm
got
following
two choices.
this. Yeah, I'm following
Be right
this.
or be happy. I chose to be happy.
He's right.
So, women always win. I have never won a fight with a woman and ain't going to start
Did you try
now
the
to try
press?
to win.
Maybe if you pressed them?
I can't even press slam them, no.
No.
Tony,
I can't headbutt them. I can't press slam. I can't drop kick her.
Tony,
None of that.
last week we took a lot of heat for some comments off at Dark Side of the Ring about the Owen Hart tragedy.
We did?
Yeah, we did a little bit.
Yeah, screw 'em. Yes.
Do you have any thoughts or any kind of inside info about Owen Hart or the night of his death?
The best thing that I came out, you know, everybody comes out things with something different. The Owen Hart incident and the Bruiser Brody incident, to me, was similar in this respect. When I came back, after taking Brody to the hospital, when I came back to the dressing room, all the wrestlers was laughing and joking like nothing happened. A person died, was murdered right in front of them, and it went unnoticed by the wrestler. Only thing them wrestlers were thinking about was their match. When Owen Hart fell to his death, the show went on. Back in the dressing room, nobody was talking about Owen Hart's death. All they was talking about was how great their match was. In wrestling, is the strangest, it's different than any sport in the world. Boxing probably is the closest to it, because wrestling is an individual sport. You don't have friends in wrestling. You have business associates. It's a dog, as MacDonald Vachon would say, wrestling is a dog-eat-dog sport, and you have to get your bite out of it.
Right.
Look at how many wrestlers died over the years, and you hear guys walking around acting like nothing happened.
Right.
They're not missed by none of the wrestlers. The fan missed them. When Piper died, the fan missed Piper, but not the wrestlers. Piper family missed him, but not the wrestler. The show must go on. So to these guys, when one wrestler is not around, there's more room for them.
Are you conditioned to
There's
be...
a lot of wrestlers thinking, like I said, when a wrestler died, oh, great, I can get all of his bookings. Because you're an individual sport. See, Tony Atlas is not a person. Tony Atlas is a company. Tony White is the owner and founder of Tony Atlas. Hulk Hogan is not a person. That's his company.
Right.
So when you get into wrestling, you're going to never hear a wrestling call it wrestling. Every wrestler you ever met, they say, welcome to the business.
Right.
Wrestling is a business, but it is a bunch of independent subcontractors that work together to form one company. Just like Monte, he could have 6 wrestlers here. He got 6 companies here. I didn't know none of this during my career. I learned all of this after my career. You know, when it couldn't do me no good. I wish I known. You hear those say, I wish I known then what I know now. If I had treated Tony Atlas more like a company than a person. But see, Hulk Hogan was smarter. Hulk Hogan knew that his gimmick and everything was a company, and he treated it like a company,
Right.
not like a person.
Right.
And that's why he was more successful, and he knew how to market Hulk Hogan. He didn't just market it in the wrestling world. He marketed it in the movie world. He marketed it in commercials. He marketed it in a reality show. He knew how to market himself, how to sell. Because Terry Bowley means nothing. That's the person.
Right.
That's the founder and owner of Hulk Hogan. So he had to promote his company. So how successful a wrestler becomes, it depends on how good of a businessman he is. It's business. They always ask, you hear this many times. I'm sure you and Marty hear this. Welcome to the business, kid. They don't call it wrestling. They call it the business. I never understood that until I wasn't in it.
So when people blamed Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr. for continuing the show, you're telling me the wrestlers wanted to continue on anyway, then?
That is like blaming President Bush for Hurricane Katrina. Same thing. What did Vince have to do with that? Nothing. Accident happen all the time. If my car run off the road, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna blame Marty because he booked me for the show.
Yeah.
No, accident happened. We all look for someone to blame for, but a lot of time, a lot of things happen because of something we did. Sometimes a person could be their own best and worst enemy. It depends on what we do, what type of condition we was in while we were doing it. Just like, I'm not saying he did, so I don't want nobody out there to say, oh, Tony had to say this about it. I didn't say that.
What, you didn't say that, example, you didn't say it was Owen Hart was high?
Well, I don't know. I don't know his condition. I wasn't there when it happened.
Right.
So I don't know his condition. But I said, let's suppose that he were. Well, if you on cloud 9 and you 20 feet in the air, something bad going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like if you drink 20 beers and get behind the wheel of your car, something's going to happen. So when you're dealing with certain things, that could have happened with anybody. Like the guy that raised them Tagger. He raised that Tagger. The guys in Vegas. What were the two brothers there?
Oh, Sigmund and Roy.
Right.
Yeah.
Not in 1,000 years that he figured that a animal that he raised from a cub up will attack him.
Right.
You can't blame the guy that booked the show.
Right.
You can't blame the tagger. Tagger is a tagger,
Right.
Sometimes things just happen unexpectedly. I'm very sure that Vince McMahon wished it never happened.
I
agree.
agree.
I'm very sure that he... But the show still must go on.
Agreed. Tony, I want to stay on the subject of the dark side of the ring. We've had you in several times in the past, and we've actually purposely stayed away from the Bruiser Brody subject, but tonight I wanted to know, can you give the fans any closer insight about that night that you may not have... I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times. Is there anything that you may want to disclose that we may not know about the stabbing of Brody? And I would really like to get your personal feelings about Carlos Colon.
I'm going to go ahead and do this, and you can pick and choose what you hear now that
Fair
you
enough.
felt like you didn't... You probably heard it then, but didn't quite... sometimes you watch a movie and you miss something, then you watch it again and say, oh, wow, I just noticed that. So sometimes just by telling the story again helps a great deal. It was so strange with me and Brody. Me and Brody have known each other since the 70s. I first met him, he was working in Amarillo, Texas. And he just got through playing college football and everything. And we worked together some then. We worked all over. But then I went to Von Erich territory in Texas. And I went in as the Black Superman. That's when I first started wearing the Superman suit. And George Scott was the booker. When George Scott left and left Brody as the booker, Brody said, Tony, George Scott said, don't worry, Brody going to take care of you. 1 week after Brody took the book, he didn't book me for no shows. He didn't book, at that time, the Dingo Warrior for no shows. With the Dingo Warrior working back and forth between Japan...
Just in case fans don't know, Dingo Warrior ended up being the Ultimate Warrior in the
it
WWE.
became the Ultimate Warrior.
Right. Yes.
But at that time, he was the Dingo Warrior, and he was working back and forth between Japan and world-class wrestling. And Brody left us at home. One day, Brody called me and said, Tony, I got your book. So I went down to Fort Worth, Texas to do the TV because I figured, because I was traveling back and forth out of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was the only place I could wrestle because Vince had blackballed me everywhere else. So the only place I could work during that year was world-class wrestling and Puerto Rico. So I was going back and forth in Puerto Rico. So when I got there, Brody said, well, I made a mistake, you're not booked. So I got so pissed off, and you can ask some of the guys that was around during that time, I challenged Brody to a fight on the parking lot. I invited him out in the parking lot.
Nice.
And then a guy came up, Earl, his name was Eric Razor or something like that.
Eric Embry?
Embry.
Eric Embry, look
Eric
at
Embry.
you!
He was there.
Florida.
So if you
Eric
talk to
Embry.
Eric Embry, you ask him about that. So I wanted to fight Brody. So I called out the parking lot. Earl Embry came out and said, Tony, you better leave. They called the cops on you.
What?
And I said, F the cops. They said, Tony,
Okay.
these cops will shoot you.
Ooh.
Get in your car. Get the fuck out of here. I got in my car. I left. I didn't see Brody anymore until he came to Puerto Rico. So he was there for the whole week. I didn't say nothing to him the whole week. Finally, we was in the gym working out. Brody walked over to me. I laid the waist down. I figured we're gonna go at it.
Oh boy.
He held his hand out to me. He said, Tony, I'm sorry for what happened to you in Texas. I had nothing to do with that. He said the reason that they got rid of you and the reason that they will not book the Warrior is because both y'all got better physique than Curry Von Erich. See, Curry was in an accident. He wrecked. He was in a auto accident and he lost 1 foot, so he was out of the scene for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's coming back. Well, you know, Curry had a great physique too.
Yeah.
So the Ultimate Warrior was lucky. He went to Vince and became the Ultimate Warrior. I went to Puerto Rico. So after me and Brody, we talked everything. He said, but I promise you, Tony, I promise you, things will be different here. He said, I waited a long time to get in down here. Now, I knew then he wasn't talking about wrestling because he'd been wrestling there for years.
Promoting?
He bought in. He gave them money he bought some of the territory. He bought some shit.
So whose shares did he take?
From what I hear, I'm not for sure because I'm not in the office. I hear he took Gorilla Monsoon.
Wow.
Shares. Because Monsoon has shares in there. So he bought, I think, was Monsoon share. Now you talk to Abdullah, the butcher, lab piece of shit. He's going to say it didn't happen. but that's him. He got to live with that. So anyway, we shook hands and everything. And then we left. We went back to the hotel. Well, I went upstairs, showered and everything, got dressed, and I told the guy at the gym, because he said, I never saw you wrestle. He said, I'm coming tonight to watch wrestling. I said, you want to get in free? He goes, yeah. I said, why don't you give me a ride to the arena? That way you can get in free, and then later on we go out and get some paella. Paella is like rice with seafood in it.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
And he said, oh, great. He said, I know a great place make the best paella. So he said, you mind if I bring my wife along? At that time was his girlfriend. I said, no, go ahead. So the guy pulled up to get me. I came out of the hotel. It was called the Tanama. And Brody and Dutch Mantel was sitting on the steps. So I said, Brody, why you staying here? I said, I'm always late. How come you late today? He said, I'm waiting for Jose to pick me up. Now, man, you out there fast. Jose is the man that murdered him. He was waiting at the hotel for his murderer. He had no idea. They rode together all week. They rode together the whole week. So Brody had no idea. So I got in the back seat, me and Dutch Mantel sat in the back seat. The bodybuilder, the guy that owned the gym, I think they call it the Muscle Factory or something like that.
Okay.
The girl slid over to the center, and Brody sat in the front seat because he's so big, he couldn't fit in the back. So me and Dutch had to get in the back seat. Mantel would tell the same story. He was there. So we get to the building, and as y'all know, I do artwork. So Mark and Jay Youngblood had contracted me to do a picture for them. So I was putting the finishing touch on the picture. Bruiser Brody walked over to me and said, wow, I didn't know you drew like that. He said, that looked just like them guys. He said, I had pictures done of my son before, but it was character draw with the big head and a small body. He said, can you do one of my boy for me, my son? I said, I can have it done for you. I said, I'll be finished with this one in about a few minutes, and I get started on yours now. I said, give me the picture. I start on it now. I said, we got another week here. Before the week is out, I have your picture done for you. He said, what I owe you? I said, nothing, brother. I said, I just like to draw. I said, I don't charge, my friend. So Brody said, okay. So as he reached in his pouch to get his picture. By then, Jose, I skipped the part. When me and Brody first walked in, Carlos Colon, Victor Jerica, and Jose, the murderer, they were sitting like in a football huddle. When Brody came through the door, they all did this. Like they saw a ghost. Jose got up, left out of the dressing room. Didn't pay no attention. I went down and started doing my drawing. So Jose come back into the dressing room. He had a towel over his hand. And he came up to Brody. He said, Brody, can I talk to you, por favor? Por favor is Spanish for please. Mm-hmm. Very nice, very relaxed, very respectful. So Brody, very nice, turned around and go, okay. And Brody turned, and I was reaching to get the picture. So like I said, the picture was coming. I almost had the picture in my hand, and then when Jose called it, Brody turned. But he still had the picture in his hand. Mm. And Jose walked in front of Brody into the shower. Brody walked in behind Jose. As soon as Brody stepped in the shower, this is what I hear. Just like that. Mm. I looked up. When I looked up, Jose raised the knife in the air like this. I sprung from my seat, grabbed Brody around the waist. I pulled him back. When I pulled him back, the knife came back, cut off some of his ponytail. Mm. I went to grab Jose. I'm holding Brody with one arm, trying to hold him up, and try to sucker punch this bastard in the face. Carlos Colon cut me off. Grabbed Jose, pushed Jose up against the wall, and said, no, Jose, no, Jose. So I went, the Brody looked at me and said, brother, I'm hurt. Don't let them.
Real quick, Tony, do you think no Jose meant that Jose was going to come try to stab you, and he stopped him from stabbing you, or was just, he was like...
Was Cologne full of shit anyway? Cause...
Let me tell you something. I was as worried about Jose stabbing me as I'm worried about getting pregnant.
There you go.
There's too much shit in the dressing room you can whack. Brody would never got stabbed if he had known. Mm-hmm. He would have took that knife from Jose and shoved it up his butt if he had known. Right. Brody had a picture of his son in his one hand, had his wrestling bag in the other hand.
Oh, so you're thinking if he didn't grab that picture from you, he might have been able to defend himself.
Picture in my hand.
Yeah.
Brody is like, this is Jose.
Uh-huh.
Here's Brody. Mm-hmm. He turned into him.
Right.
He turned and hit him.
Right.
Yeah.
Brody never saw the knife.
Never. Right.
I tell you, it was in his, when Brody first laid out on his knife, it was in his stomach.
Mm.
He turned and hit him. I'm looking at he turned. I thought he punched him.
Right.
Because Brody's so wide, you can't even see Jose. Mm. But Brody would walk behind him. If you could picture it in your man. And all of a sudden you follow somebody, they just turn and stick you. What you gonna do?
Right.
So Carlos was more afraid of me getting hold of Jose. That's what he was trying to protect Jose, not me. He cared red ass about me.
Right.
But anyway, make a long story short. So Brody said, I'm hurt, brother. Don't let them. He didn't say him.
Right.
He said them. Don't let them hurt me anymore. I said, brother, don't worry about it. Ain't nobody going to do a fucking thing to you. So I laid him down on the floor. Carlos tried to talk to him. I told Carlos, I said, if you come over here, I'm going to knock your head right off your freaking shoulders. I said, if anybody come over here, I'm going to knock the head off the shoulder. So Carlos said, well, I want to talk to him. So Brody laid on the floor. He tugged on my pants leg like this. He said, let Carlos come. Carlos come over and asked Brody, said, anything I could do for you? Brody said, take care of my family. So then the ambulance came after about an hour and 45 minutes. Almost 2 hours he laid in the floor bleeding.
Why so long?
Because it was the beginning of the show, and all the fans was coming in.
Okay.
So this was at the beginning of the show. So at them days, the arenas used to be packed.
Right.
So the ambulance had a long time getting there. Well, they didn't rush either because they come to the show before. They would think it's a regular. Because the people they saw was an elderly lady and an old man. And they couldn't lift Brody. So the guy, one of the guys said, could somebody help us lift him up and put him on the ambulance? So I went over and I stuck my hand under him. I squatted down so I could lift the girder up. And Brody said, "Don't you drop me." I said, "Brother, I curl more than you weigh." So he got a little smile on his face, so I put him on the ambulance. Then, as we was leaving, the guy turned again and said, "Anybody want to go to the hospital with him?" Every wrestler in that dressing room turned their head.
Right.
They turned around. Yeah. I got on the ambulance. I'm on the back. And it was this Mexican guy was called Hercules somebody. I can't remember his name. He had a son, Miguel Perez, that used to wrestle.
Hercules Ayala?
No, not Ayala. His name was Miguel Perez was his son.
Okay.
Perez.
Okay.
And he's called Hercules. He had like a V shape. He wasn't very big, maybe about 190 pounds. But anyway, I saw him. And I was very strong in them days. I grabbed him by the belt.
In them days.
Yeah, in them
I
days.
grabbed him by the belt. I drug him on the ambulance. He said, "Tony, don't get me involved in this. Don't get me involved in this." I said, "All I want you to do is interpret for me." I couldn't speak Spanish. I said, "I just want you to tell them what I say." He said, "Okay." And I kept holding him. He kept trying to get off that ambulance. But once we got on the interstate, he kind of stopped trying to jump off the ambulance.
Yeah.
So we get to the hospital, and they put Brody in there, and he was laying on the table. And I'm waiting for the doctor. Nobody coming. So finally I saw a doctor walk down the hallway reading a paper. I said, "Are you a doctor?" He read some paper or something. I said, "You a doctor?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I got my friend got stabbed." The doctor walked over to the emergency room and opened up the door. In Puerto Rico, a stabbing is like a cold in America.
Oui.
The doctor ignored it. He turned to walk away. I grabbed that rascal by his waist and threw him up on my shoulder, just like this. I carry him into Brody and set him down right in front of Brody. I said, "You're going to look at my friend." So Brody had his hand over the cut. The doctor lifted the cut. The doctor never saw nothing like that before. He said, "Oh, my God, we need to get him in operation right away." So they got Brody in operation. So I sat there for about an hour and a half while they were doing the thing. The doctor came out. He said, "Your friend is stable." He said he got 2 8-inch cuts. One cut his liver. One cut his intestine. We got the intestine fixed. We working on the liver now. He said, "But we would recommend you go home because everybody in this hospital is scared of you." He said, "You got everybody so nervous." He said, "I'm afraid that you're going to cause more harm than good. Why don't you come back in your morning?" I said, "You sure he's okay?" He said, "Your friend going to be okay. We got him stable. His blood pressure, everything is stable." So I left and I went back to the building. When I got back to the building, I'm walking towards the dressing room. I hear, "Hey, hey, 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 ha, 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 hey, great match." The blood is still wet on the floor. Ain't even dry yet. The guys was laughing and joking about talk about their matching. I got pissed off. I wanted to beat up everybody in the dressing room. Carlos come over to me and said, "Tony, go to the ring. The Sheik is waiting for you. Do your match so you can go back and see Brody later." So I went in the ring. I wrestled with the Iron Sheik. The Sheik said, "Brother, what happened with the Brody?" And I said, "Jose stabbed him." "Jose Gonzalez stabbed the Brody?" I go, "Yes." "Fuck this. Let's go." So all we did in that match, if you ever see that match, we locked up. He said, "Give me headbutt, brother." I headbutted. Sheik rolled out the ring, went back to the dressing room. We didn't even give him a match. I get back to the dressing room. A policeman is standing there. He said, "Oh." He said, "We just left the hospital. They told me we left, went to the hotel. We were looking for you." And he said, "You the only one that have not gave a statement. You the only one that have not gave a statement." He said, "What? Do you know what happened?" I said, "Yes." He said, "What happened?" He said, I said, y'all excuse my language. I said, "That son of a bitch right there stabbed him." He said, "You mean Vader?" Because I said the invader. I said, "Yeah, that son of a bitch right there stabbed Brody." I was looking right there. He said, "How is that possible?" And I said, "Why?" He said, everybody in the dressing room that I interviewed said that a wrestling fan did it. So they already had made the story up while I was gone of what they're going to tell the police. So I went back to my hotel room, and what's his name? Sabio Vega?
Yeah.
He was wrestling then as TNT. He was there with my bag. He said, don't go to your room, Tony. They're looking for you because you talking.
Oh.
If you ever talk to Sabio Vega, I always shake his hand. He saved my life. They was waiting for me up in my room. They were going to kill me. So I walked the beach the whole day. Finally, the next morning, I said, screw it. If they up there, we're going to battle. I said, I ain't going to we're going to battle if they over there. When I got there, one of the seekers said, come on, brother, we're having a meeting in Abdullah the butcher room. Now, Abdullah on the dock side said there was no meeting. You asked Seeker, there was a meeting. You asked Dutch Mantel, there was a meeting. You asked anybody but Abdullah the butcher, there was a meeting.
Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
I think because he got shares in it. And he was the one that called for the meeting. And he don't want callers to know that he got the boys to boycott the week. Because it wasn't for Abdullah calling that meeting. Because Abdullah and Brody was good friends. And we boycotted the week. Nobody would wrestle for him no more that week. And it was our way of standing up to him, boycotting it. So after the meeting, the guy said, well, somebody need to go to, one of the wrestlers said, well, somebody need to go and tell the police what happened. And everybody said, well, I didn't see it. I wasn't there. Dutch Mantel said, well, I left out of the dressing room. I didn't actually see it. When I came back, it was already done. And
was Dutch telling the truth, or is he just like he didn't want any part of it?
I didn't see him leave the dressing room.
Okay.
I didn't see him leave. I didn't see him come in. He said he did, but I didn't see it.
I got you.
I can't talk to that because I was drawing. So anyway, Seeker, for people who don't know who Seeker is the father of Roman Reigns. And if you look at the picture of Seeker, they look like twins, right?
Yeah.
He looked just like his dad.
Yeah.
So Seeker said, I go with you, brother. So I said, oh, okay. I mean, if you got Seeker, if y'all really knew Seeker in his younger days, you didn't need nobody else.
Right.
I mean, Seeker and Alpha was pretty
big.
Peter Mavias and
large.
Oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
Seeker was powerful, big, strong, powerful Samoan. So he went with me. I gave my report. I asked the policeman. I said, if I come to trial, can I have protection? He said, once you get to the courthouse, we can protect you. Outside, we can't. He said, we don't have enough manpower to do that. I said, well, I got a 357 Magnum I'd like to bring along with me. He said, that's okay with me as long as you can clear with the airline. I called the airline said, as long as I check it. I can't carry it all.
Yeah, right.
I have to check it with my luggage. And you have to fill out some paper to say you got a weapon. So I said, okay. Y'all did. I gave him my address, gave him everything. I've got to the airport. I sat at the airport. And back in them days, you didn't have to make reservations. Nothing. If you got cash, remember you could buy a ticket with cash.
You just
go. Throw the money on the table. They
Right.
give you a ticket, get a play. And I didn't hear no more about Brody until after the trial. I saw it on TV. That's how I found out it was a trial.
After the trial.
I never received
How
anything.
on earth? You're the one eyewitness.
Well, you see.
How does Tony Atlas not wind up taking the stand and putting this guy where he belongs?
Me and Marty talked about this earlier. When you have political power and wealth, people can't afford to land in what you want. To them, Brody was just a big white American. Carlos Colon was the heartbeat of that island. He was the most popular thing on that island. You know?
He's the Bruno of that island. I got you.
He was the Bruno
I got you.
Sammartino.
Carlos Colon, murderer?
Well, he didn't do the murder.
Conspired to murder. What says Tony Atlas?
That's a good question.
Seriously.
You're on the spot, Mr. Atlas.
Come on, Tony.
But see, I'm the type of person, I don't like to speculate. I only like to talk about what I could prove and what I could do. If I call that man a murderer, he'd take me to court. How am I going to prove it?
Understood. Now, you did say something interesting earlier, though. You said you were afraid that they were after you. And you felt who's they? Is it Carlos? Is it
I kept hearing the term both from Brody when he was dying. He said, "Don't let them hurt me anymore." Them. He said them. Then when Sabio Vega came to get me, he said, "They are looking for you." In both incidents, they used the term "they," which gave me the impression that it was a conspiracy. See, what I think what happened, I'm giving my opinion on this, because I watched some of the dark side, and I hear one of the guys say that Brody said he's going to get his money back even if he got to beat the hell out of him. So, and then I hear that Carlos Colon had gambling decks. Now, there's something that's not here at the airport. There was a guy at the airport sitting with me. He would go back and forth. He was a nurse's assistant, CNA, and he said, "Man, I'm sorry about what happened to your buddy." I said, "Yeah." I said, "The doctor," I said, "They should sue the hospital." He said, "They had a guy stable." He said, "No, it wasn't the hospital." I said, "It wasn't?" He said, "No." He said, 2 seconds after you left, 2 seconds, he said some security people came and told us, stop working on the wrestler. They went to the hospital and finished the job with this guy, this orderly. Is that what you call him, orderly? He told me that. He was there.
So let me ask you: have you ever, after this is all said and done, and you're still wrestling, you ever run across Carlos Colon again?
Yeah.
And what's your feelings there? Are you just
How
like
awkward is that? Or is it
I
just
just
the
watched
business? The business just made you
Well, see,
indifferent after?
I don't mean to bring race into it, but
Okay.
me being a black man, I can't do what other people do.
Okay.
I can't. Carlo is rich and powerful. I'm a poor old black man. Whatever happened, they're gonna blame me. I can't do what they do. Like when me and Tommy Wildfire Rich go out and get drunk and miss a show, they fire me. They made Tommy world champion. You understand? I learned
Unbelievable.
that. A lot of people don't want to believe that's how the world.
So you felt helpless kind of during this.
I was helpless.
That's
you know.
interesting.
So the best thing for me to do, I had nobody on my side.
Okay.
Even I noticed Brody didn't have one friend in the world, not one. Everybody turned their back on him that day.
Well, let's be honest. Like,
Was it because he was a loner in the business?
No,
I mean,
because what happened in the wrestling world, when one wrestler is gone, like I said earlier, the way the other guys look at it, it's an open door for them. Who became the booker after Brody died?
that's rough.
You know who became the booker?
Gonzalez.
No.
Who?
Dutch Mantel.
Oh, well, go surprise there. He would have been next on my list.
Wow.
And he accepted it, too. So even though he knows this guy's murdered, but you see, we could go back to what you told me about Brody coming up to you and go, hey,
Well, look
Tony.
at the same thing in Owen Hart. How many guys left Vince because of it?
Nobody.
That's wrestling.
And we pointed out
People
Owen
used to
stayed
say,
with Vince
all
after
you
he screwed
guys,
Brett.
all you guys are friends. And we used to get mad about them because we knew we all was not friends. A guy called me on the we did a thing on the internet today, and a guy called me today, and I told him that wrestlers are not friends; they business associates. The first time I never knew Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I seen him, I knew of him for 20 years, but never knew him one-on-one until we did Legend House. You know, remember we were saying that? Me and Piper never spoke a word the whole time we were in the business until Legend
And
House.
then you gave everybody pig's feet. Nice job, Tony.
Yes.
They were like, what is this?
But that's the
With a side of
wrestling world.
octopus.
The wrestlers are not as close as
Yeah.
you think they are.
Okay.
You know, look
Understood.
at when one wrestler leaves, like let's say me and you with the WWF, and we ride together, we party together, we do everything together for like 5 years.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I lose my job.
Okay.
All of a sudden, your phone don't work no more.
Tony who?
So
You understand?
So
Yeah,
Tony,
I'm following.
you know what?
That's rough.
you're moving into a good spot here. So
That's
like
rough.
all wrestling fans know the historic night when you and Rocky Johnson won the tag belts, right?
Right.
Many people that watch this show also know that the spot was originally meant for SD Jones, and you had some problems, and it kind of caused SD a spot. But from knowing you and SD are pretty close. Can you explain to the fans what kind of man SD Jones was?
Underrated. In a real fight.
Okay.
SD Jones probably could whoop everybody there. I used to go to the gym with SD Jones, and SD, what was so strange about it, he could incline press more than he could bench press.
Wow.
I
Now
don't
that's
see anybody
impressive.
do that.
That's impressive.
He could take 405 pounds
Really?
and do it 10 times on the incline.
Wow.
We used to do curls, me and SD. SD used to take 225 pounds and curl it. I was squatting 600. SD squatted 600. He was my training partner.
Was SD a true friend?
SD was definitely a true friend.
So there are friends in wrestling then.
There are friends in wrestling. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about SD. When Vince first kicked me out of wrestling, I went I called Vern Gagne out in AWA. He said, "Yeah, I would love to have you in, Tony, but it's gonna be a month before I bring you in." So I checked into the Ramada Inn on 49th and 8th Street. SD told his wife where I was at. His wife, Kate, and I talked to her frequently. Kate said, "Tell Tony to come here and stay. I don't want him. He ain't gonna have no money left. He paid $500-600 a week at that hotel. He could come here and stay." So SD came and started packing my bag. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Kate wants you at the house. Kate wants you at the house. We gotta go. Gotta go to the house. Kate, gotta go to the house."
There it is.
Kate wants it. Kate wants it. Yeah, that's what it has to be. And so he's like, help me pack my bag. So I slept in his son's room. His name was Jermaine. So they gave me his son's room to sleep in. Well, I didn't just lay around. I mean, I did yard work. I helped Kate around the house. One day, SD came home. He said, "I think I've lost my job." I said, "Why is that, SD?" He said, "Vince Jr. told me this. If I don't get Tony Atlas out of my house, he's going to fire me."
What? Why?
And I said, "What you tell Vince?" He said, "Tony, my friend, I can't do that to my friend." So I said, "No, SD, I don't want you to lose your job for me." I said, "I go back to the hotel." And luckily for me, SD cousin, they call him Bigfoot. Because he had these like size 15 shoe. He was on like 6'4", but he had like a size 15 shoe. They called him Bigfoot. So he said, "Hey, you're only going to be here for about 2 more weeks. You come and hang out at my place for a couple of weeks, you know?" And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll pay you." He said, "No, just help out with the food." He said, "Just pay for your own food." He said, "I can't feed you."
Right.
He said, "But it ain't going to cost me nothing for you to sleep on my couch. But you just buy your own food." So I said, "Cool." So I left, and SD was able to keep his job. You know, if you watch the whole thing, SD tell our story. What happened was, I left. I walked out on Vince, and went back to L.A. And at the same night that me and SD were going to be win the world title from at that time Fuji and Saito.
Which would have been incredible.
Yeah, and then the idea was to bring the Moondogs. They was in Japan at the time.
Okay.
Bring them back. They were going to defeat us for the belt.
Okay.
Now, to answer your question, then they were going to put me in singles to go against Backler to make me the first black world champion. But I walked out on him. That's why I didn't get the belt. Had nothing to do with Vince.
Tone.
I did that myself.
You messed up this 14-year-old kid's head, bro.
I was all messed up. I had this big body, but nothing. The light was on, but nobody.
Tony, we got to take a commercial break, but I need one thing answered that's always bothered me, and I want the truth. When Albano hits, I don't know if it was Alpha Seek over the head with that chair. Was that chair gimmick? Or did they really take a wood chair?
In the olden days, they didn't gimmick nothing.
Wow.
That was old school. They wanted the people to hear the sound. See, if you gimmick, you're not gonna get that crack when
we heard
break.
it.
You heard it.
Oh,
yeah.
we heard
You
it.
have to. You don't get that when something is gimmick.
Those chairs looked old-fashioned too. They look like something you see on
Right.
the Walton set.
A lot of guys used to do stuff like that back in the day. Like you ever hear of a guy to get juice? Some guy use a razor blade. Y'all know that, right?
Yep.
But you ever hear the old term, "do it the hard way"?
Yeah.
Gene Anderson had a way of, and Harley Race could do it too. They could open you up with their fist. Harley could hit you and cut you.
Just with their fist.
Yeah, Gene Anderson could do that too. He was Ole Anderson's partner called the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
Gene and Ole Anderson. They could use their fist and open you up. Now, a lot of guys will use the turnbuckle. There's a screw that sticks out about that far. And they would hit your head on it and drag your head across it.
Okay.
They call that doing it the hard way.
You in your career didn't take a lot of color though, right? You didn't.
Oh no, everybody got color back in them days.
You had a lot of color.
Color back in them days, you would never be a main eventer.
Right.
Yeah. Because most of the matches back in them days had color in it. People came to see the blood. If they didn't get if you had a wrestling match in 1975 and nobody bleed, ain't nobody coming back.
Right.
See, what stopped the color was AIDS.
Okay.
Look at a picture.
Okay.
Look at a picture of Bruiser Brody. Every picture he got blood. Look at Dusty Rhodes. Every picture got blood. There's pictures of me on the internet with blood. See, there's always pictures of wrestlers with blood.
Interesting.
That what drew. When the people saw the blood, and what we used to do, we want the people to see the cuts. We would get right up to a person so they could see the open room. I remember one time a guy told me, "Oh, that's ketchup. That's not real." I would pull the band-aids off, smack it, and bleed right on him.
And then they said it's real.
Because our job, we was wrestlers. We were not sports entertainers. See, the object of wrestling in my day was turning fantasy into reality. In other words, make the people believe that what you're doing for real.
Sure.
So we were what they call very stiff.
Sure.
Like we didn't pull punches. We laid in punches. We just know where to hit. The guys taught me to. I hit Gene Anderson one day in the ring. He was one of the guys. Him and Gene and Ole helped train me, and Larry Sharp. Larry Sharp later started the Monster Factory. He also trained Bam Bam Bigelow. But I was Larry Sharp's first student. People don't know that.
Okay.
So I hit Gene Anderson with a forearm. Gene said, "You fucking cunt, you. With them big arms you got, is that as hard as you can hit?" I want to apologize for my language, but that's how these guys talk.
Sure,
I'm telling you the way they said it. So I drew back and I hit him as hard as I could hit him. He said, "Oh, yeah, that's how you do them. Lay them in, kid."
That's what I'm talking about.
Ric Flair.
Oh, wait, let's hold on, Tony. I got to just take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get right back to you with Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
Stay tuned.
You were going to talk about Ric Flair, Tony, but I got to jump into this. Andrew Anderson was in 2 weeks ago. He had a pretty close relationship with Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
He says on the show that you told him that you were there that night.
Did I what?
That you were there that night. What do you know about that
What, the
situation?
Nancy Argentina
The
incident?
Nancy Argentina.
Now, who told you that I was there?
Andrew Anderson said that on the show that you were there.
How he wasn't there.
Maybe I misunderstood.
What are your recollections of the Argentina
What
incident?
Andrew Anderson meant to tell you, the girl, my second wife, her name was Lisa.
Okay.
She was Jimmy Snuka's girlfriend before. She was my girlfriend.
Oh.
So I told Andrew Anderson what she told me.
Okay.
She was in the room when it happened.
Okay.
What happened was, this is what she told me and I told to Andrew. I wasn't there.
Okay, so I stand corrected. I apologize.
Well,
all
no,
good.
no,
And I
no,
apologize to
no,
Andrew Anderson
no,
also.
because he told you, but he...
I might have misunderstood. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was telling the story about what really happened. I was not in the room when it happened, but the girl that I'm married to was in the room.
What did she say?
In fact, y'all don't know this. Right before Snuka passed away, the DA of Pennsylvania called me and tried to get a hold of Lisa. He tried to get a hold of her because she was an eyewitness to it. See, what happened was, this is what she said. Back in the day, the guy was doing the nose cannon, the cocaine, right?
Sure.
Snuka did an 8-ball that day. That's 3.5 grams. He did it that whole day.
Hey.
So at the end of the night, he ran out by nighttime. He told the girl to go get him some more. She went to get him some more. What ended up
Nancy,
happening-
it's Nancy to go get more.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
With Lisa.
With Lisa.
With Lisa. The guy won't sell him anything because it was after hours. He said that Snuka hit her. And she fell. I said, "What'd you do?" She said she ran. And she said, "That's why I came to you." She said, "Because I knew that he would not come after me when I'm with you." She said, "All I want is my purse." She left her purse in the room.
Wow.
Now, a week
So
before
she
that,
came
a
to
week
you
before
that-
he
Tony,
beat
Tony,
her up.
just
He
real-
beat-
Tony, real
They called the
fast.
cops on her a week before that. You know that, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
Wow.
1 week before that, he
All right.
beat her up. I think it was in Poughkeepsie.
Wait, is it? No, that was where he attacked the dogs. That was way earlier, I thought, right?
Yep, no, a couple of weeks before he beat her up. Yeah, they called the cops on him and everything. Yeah. a couple
So
of
the
weeks.
night of the incident, your future wife asked you to go back with her to get the purse?
No, this was later. She came
This
back
is later.
because there was. she
Okay,
met-
I just wanna
met
make sure
her
it's not
at
the same
Madison
night.
At Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
But she was wondering if anybody did I hear about or anybody know where her purse was at. Mm-hmm. So she told me all this after we had sex. I'm laying in bed with this woman, and she's telling me all this stuff, you know.
Wow.
I never told anybody. I stayed out of it.
Right.
I didn't go to the police. I didn't say, because I was not a witness. It was always called, back in the old days, called that hearsay. Mm-hmm. And finally, what happened was, what the DA told me, that Snuka wrote a book. And so the guy, he bought the book, the DA that prosecuted that case, he bought the book because he knew that the case was going to be in it, so he could read to see if his name was in it. Mm-hmm. And when he read the story, he never heard that story before. So he went back and searched the court records and found out that they told one story at the trial and there's another story in the book. That's why they reopened the case.
So let me ask you, just your opinion. Did Jimmy Snuka kill Nancy Argentina?
I don't want to do that.
Okay,
I don't want to do that.
that's your right.
Yeah. But according to what Lisa said, he hit her. And I said, did he hit her hard? She said, you ever seen The Exorcist?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
With the girl head turned around?
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said her head turned right around.
Did you ever consider
He
Jimmy
said she
Snuka?
was dead before you hit the ground.
Jesus.
Did you ever consider Jimmy Snuka dangerous? Was this a shock
No.
to you to hear this? I mean, what was your
No.
feelings when you're hearing it? Well, you just got laid, so you've obviously.
No,
But
not in 1,000 years. Always nice, laid back, always cool.
Yeah.
No, not in 100 years. No.
All right,
You know, when you drugs,
yeah,
a drug could change a person,
especially that
cocaine.
stuff.
Yeah,
especially
sure.
that
When you
stuff.
start messing with cocaine, I mean, it changed me. I mean, cocaine made me walk out on a world championship.
Yeah.
Okay, so cocaine can make
Yeah.
you. Yeah, if you get drugs.
Did you ever do an 8-ball by yourself? I'm impressed
No,
that somebody
I'd be
could do an
dead.
8-ball by themselves.
Believe it or not, with me, I don't know why I did it. See, I could never drink as much.
Okay.
See, I had a 4% body fat. So I do this. I'm messed up for the whole night. And in the morning, I got muscle cramps.
Oh.
That's why I didn't make the show. Oh. See, drugs, if you don't have no body fat, is nothing to absorb that. So it dehydrated my muscles because I had no body fat. You see? Right. So it dehydrated my muscles. I had serious muscle cramp, and so I had to lay in bed the next day to recuperate. Every time I did drugs, I had to recuperate the next day. I couldn't do drug and go perform that night.
Right.
I couldn't do drug and perform the next day.
Yeah.
These guys could do it, go in the ring, come back, do it, get up the next morning. It was like their body was immune to it. I was what you call a jock. And the only reason I did it, because I wanted to be one of the boys. I wanted to fit in.
So there was peer pressure with drugs in the scene.
Only
There was
because-
some.
Well, see, but that was my decision to try to fit in. Because I had people like Chief J. Strongbow that told me to stay away from guys. S.D. Jones, he said that in the Hall of Fame. I tried to keep Tony away from them guys. There was always guys that tried to trip you up. Like Mr. Fuji, even if you didn't do drugs, Mr. Fuji would give you a cookie with LSD in it.
Good old Fuji.
Tony.
Good old Fuji.
He would do that
What did the
as a-
fortune say on the
He
inside?
would do that as a real.
You're gonna be tripping.
Uncle Elmer would ask you if you said your back hurt. He said, "Hey brother, I got a nice pain pill here for you." Uncle Elmer would give you a pill and sit back like this and look at you. You pop that pill and the room started spinning around. Guys would do that as a joke. Mr. Fuji would pee in a shampoo bottle. You know that Johnson shampoo that was kind of brown, the brown?
Yeah.
He would fill half of it with urine, and he would go around there. Anybody want to use shampoo? Good shampoo. Want to use shampoo? Good shampoo. Fuji fed a guy roadkill one time as a joke.
Oh no, that's
Took a dead dog off the road,
come
took it
on
home
now.
and cooked it, and invited the rest over and
bro.
fed
Yeah,
it to him.
Fuji was
insane.
evil, dude.
Yeah.
Yo.
Johnny Valentine. One time a guy was wrestling, I can't remember his name. He had asthma. Took the asthma stuff out, put lighter fuel in. The guy took the shit on. These guys did this for real. Ronnie Garvin would come up behind you. We driving down the highway. Ronnie Garvin come behind you, put his front bumper against your back bumper, and started pushing you down the highway at 80 miles per hour. To these guys, this was a real. They used to take guys out there, Mulligan and all them guys in Fleur, in Norfolk, they were hanging around with the KKK. They would get a black guy, they had a chair. They had floats on the side of it. And they would dope the guy, strap him to a chair, put him in the water in Norfolk, Virginia, and then put chicken blood, in the water to draw the sharks.
What?
And every time the shark come to bite the guy, they pull on the rope.
What?
Wahoo
You guys are insane. You realize that?
Daniel chased Norville Austin down the highway with a shotgun, shooting at him. They did this for ribbon. To them, that was a rib. They didn't see that they were doing anything wrong.
So we're running out of time. So you're talking about old school wrestling. I got something for you.
Okay.
You're close friends with Mark Henry, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, okay.
He made a statement about Leo Rush a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
who?
Leo Rush. Do you ever hear of Leo Rush?
You know who that is?
Leo Rush is an NXT wrestler
He
who
was
was in the
former Ring of
WWE.
Honor, wound up working at NXT for a little
never
while.
heard
They
of
made a shirt of him with a smiley face
Oh,
on it.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And ever since
Now
he's
I know
been,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Henry said Leo Rush got released because he didn't work hard enough. Rush posted a video of Henry mentioning those comments that he didn't appreciate Henry talking about him. This number, he writes, this number isn't working unless you forget to pay your bill. Maybe you need to budget your money a bit. Don't even know why you're entertaining this. Keep my name out of your mouth, please. Yada, yada, yada. Leo Rush was also known. He's one of the guys that refused to carry the bags for the veterans also.
He preferred to do what now?
Because you had told me when you were going through the industry, right? You would carry Dick Murdoch's bag. We were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
I remember
Leo
that,
Rush refused. He felt it was degrading to carry bags. So
I guess the old school ways he wasn't interested in behind the scenes, the pecking order and earning your respect. He didn't seem to be very interested.
And
in
a final statement from Leo Rush to Mark Henry, and this is why African American talent on the biggest platform will continue not to have equal opportunity because people like you consistently tear your own people down. A damn shame, honestly.
Well,
Wow.
this is what I told Mark Henry. I said, Mark, you are the first black wrestler to work for the WWF or WWE that didn't fuck up.
Interesting.
Period. He was the first. He stuck in there. He hung in there. He made a good name for himself. He entertained the fans. He did what he was told to do. See, Mark understood that he got an opportunity to make life good for his family. He understands that it's a business. Wrestling is entertainment like a movie. A lot of guys with this degrading stuff, I think it would be more degraded for Mark Henry. All the guys that thought like, what's that guy's name?
Leo Rush?
Leo Rush, never made it.
No.
People don't want to. They don't want that type of attitude. Mark Henry got the best attitude of any wrestler in the WWE. See,
Is Mark Henry underrated in your
Vince
mind?
took this. Yes,
Thank you.
Vince. But you see, Mark Henry paid for us. Mark Henry made Vince trust black athletes again. See, Vince Sr. loved Ernie the Cat Ladd.
Oh.
Loved him.
Yeah.
In fact, Vince Sr. came to me and said, the reason that we booked you, Tony, because you was recommended by my best friend, Ernie the Cat Ladd.
Ernie Ladd.
He said, I don't care what people tell you. He said, if it wasn't for Ernie Ladd, you would not be here. They had the utmost respect for Ernie the Cat Ladd, who was a black man. I screwed up. Rocky screwed up. JYD, he would have been as big as Hogan or anybody. But as all you know, he never screwed up. He did his job, but he got involved with the drugs that messed his career up.
Sure.
every black person that ever been in this business, people asked me one time, say, Tony, was there much racism in the business? I said, every black person I knew was a main eventer. JYD, Ernie Ladd, Rufus R. Jones, Thunderbolt Patterson.
We did have a discussion about Pharaoh. We had a discussion about Thunderbolt Patterson in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told him I wasn't a big fan of Thunderbolt Patterson.
Yeah.
And what did you tell me, Tony?
But he was a main eventer.
Yeah.
He was electrified. He had charisma.
But you told me you didn't see Thunderbolt in his prime.
The reason they stopped using them, was his attitude.
Wow.
The reason they stopped using Tony Atlas because of the attitude. They got a business to run. That's what this kid don't understand. Mark Henry is a businessman. Mark Henry and long the checks were coming, and they never did nothing to hurt Mark. What did they do to hurt him? Nothing.
Thoughts on Ahmed Johnson while we're on bad attitudes behind the scenes? Any thoughts on?
Well, there you go. See, some people feel that the world owes them something.
Okay.
And unfortunately for a lot of my people, they think they owe them something for slavery. Like I saw the shirt that he was complaining about. I don't see what he see.
Interesting.
He said it was racist. I look at it. I don't see what is racist about it. I mean, somebody gonna make a shirt of you. Look at the booty hole. You know, funny looking, fat album looking guy.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They put a freaking uniform.
Yeah, they complained all the way to the bank with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Pharaoh's going to close us out because we're almost out of time. Pharaoh's got a list of questions he could ask. He can only choose one. Okay. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Stay tuned.
I'm on Mark Henry's side.
Monte The Pharaoh, Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast scene here every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. As promised, we have Hall of Famer, superstar, Mr. Tony Atlas, who's a frequent visitor to the Monte and the Pharaoh show. We love having him here. We're almost out of time. The star of the show will choose one question for Mr. Atlas to answer before we close out. Pharaoh, it's all yours, brother.
Well, my apologies to our producer because my question is not on the page.
There you go,
well,
Pharaoh.
When
screws us over already,
That's
Matt.
right, the king of improv. Work with me, brother. Here we go. I have to know this. When you were doing the blow and you blew it, and they were going to make you world champion, were they going to turn you heel against Bob Backlund?
No.
Wait a minute. Was Bob going to be turned heel? Someone had to. Bob Backlund was going to be a heel.
Makes sense. He was a heel.
How did we given any?
Because they saw that he was not getting over. See, the world changed. Not Bob. The world changed.
Sure. Attitudes were shifting. Attitudes were shifting. No doubt.
By the 80s, people started disliking the good guys.
Oh, yeah.
It started with Derry Harry. Remember Derry Harry?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Derry Harry was the bad, the cop, broke all the rules. They loved him.
Yeah.
You take Terminator.
Sure.
They loved him.
Sure.
They came to kill humor. They loved him. The bad guy started becoming the hero. Attitude Earl with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time Steve Austin came on side, people was ready for this badass.
Were you given?
Then what happened? People got tired. They used to call Bob Backlund how they do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he
We
was
did all
nice.
the time.
They got tired of the nice guys. You understand what I'm saying?
Were you given
Because
any
Hogan,
details how
and
he
they
was going to
turned
change?
They started liking a heel. Hogan
Right.
was a heel.
Right.
He was not a baby face.
Right.
The people turned Hogan. Look at people love Ric Flair now. He was a heel in the 70s. In the 80s, he was a freaking baby face. They started liking the bad guys more than the good guys. And I saw it in the late 70s when fans would come and would boo the good guy and cheer the bad guy. We thought they were trying to be assholes, to be honest with you, but the world changed.
Did Graham start a lot of that, Superstar Graham? Because he was pretty popular for a bad guy.
Who is that?
Superstar Billy Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they loved him.
Yeah.
They loved him. He bragged. Ric Flair, they loved him. And they started liking like in wrestling, they want to see the bad guy.
Right.
The good guy was born as crap to
Were
them.
you ever given any details on how Backlund was going to turn heel? I'm just so curious about
No,
this.
because what ended up happening, I left before he got off the ground. Me and Backlund only had one match. It was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I won. It was
Okay.
a non-title match.
You pinned him?
You pinned him?
No, what happened, I leapfrogged him. I leapfrogged him, and Backlund raised up, and his head hit me in the crotch. And they DQ Backlund and raised my hand.
Wow.
Interesting.
And we
Wow.
supposed to come back for the rematch after we dropped the title, but it was already working towards that.
Wow.
And Lou Albano said, Tony, if you don't mess up, Freddie Blassett and Lou Albano said, if you don't mess up, he said, you got the green light. They're going all the way with you.
Okay.
All the way with you.
Okay.
Vince had planned, and I think that's what made him so angry at me, is because I walked, and they lost millions of dollars when I done that.
Right.
And the territory counter was hurt for a long time until
Okay.
Hogan came back.
Right.
See?
Right.
And then Hogan came back and revitalized things. So they found a person, Vince found a person. He wasn't as talented as the other wrestler. He wasn't as good a wrestler, but he was dependable.
Right. If
Wait,
okay.
let me get one
ahead.
in. All right,
Go
and
ahead.
we could get a picture up, Max. I'm going to get it
Oh,
right.
okay.
I have to get a picture one in.
Okay.
What do you know about the Ring Boy scandal back in
Who?
the Ring Boy scandals in the 80s?
Oh.
Well, the guy they crucified had nothing to do with it. Mel Phillips. See, Mel Phillips was a go for it. Go for this, go for that.
Go for this.
And so
Right,
what
okay.
Mel Phillips would do, he would go and get young boys to satisfy some of the people in the office that had a fantasy for young boys.
Who would those
Oh,
be?
was that-
Who would that be,
is
Tony?
Pete-
Well, from what
PP?
I hear, I mean, I wasn't in office. From what I hear,
You could just guess.
yeah, but from what I hear, it was for Pat Patterson. From what I hear,
Okay.
He's again
So go
PP.
for Pat.
What is people?
well, he was a go for everybody. That was his job.
Okay.
That, you know, and he ran the ring crew, and he would get these young boys, and you know, and from what I hear, they had some stuff going on in the room, and I guess word got back to one of the kids' parents, who went home bragging about all the gifts and stuff he was getting from this pro wrestler.
Oh boy. What picture did you put up for this anyway?
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
Matt missed. He put up the Von Erich picture.
I gotta get one more.
All right, one more.
You
We're
know
close to
that
the
case
show.
is still pending.
It is?
It never went to trial.
I had no idea.
Wow.
Remember the show on TV, Patterson hiding, and they're trying to talk to him. He hid in his house.
Yeah,
in New
yeah,
Jersey.
Yeah.
Vince almost lost the company behind that. That was big stuff.
He stood by Pat, though.
One last question before we let you go, and thank you once again for coming down and being a friend to the show. We really appreciate it. Last question. Okay, Tony Atlas is going to be given the world title.
Are you still on this?
I got to know. Bob Backlund is turning heel. What happens if that night, the night you're supposed to be champion, what if Bob decided to go into business for himself? Can you still take that title from him, or was Backlund as bad of a MO as we've heard? I mean,
It's actually a pretty good question.
I mean, would you be able to take it from him if Bob didn't want you to take it from him?
If I got my hand on him,
Okay.
yes.
Interesting. Backlund was very tough, though. Legit tough, though,
Well,
right?
he was very tough.
Okay.
In a wrestling match, Backlund would beat me. That's the
Okay.
reason I say I had a 650 bench.
Man.
The heaviest man I ever lift over my head was 460. Backlund weighed about 250.
Right.
To me, that's curling weight.
Right.
I used to
He's
look
a
at people.
paperweight.
In my younger days, that's how I used to fight. I used to look
Right.
at people as weight.
Right.
So I figure if I could lift you, I could beat you.
Okay.
Vince McMahon gave me that idea, senior. He said, Tony, if you could press slam him, you could pin him. That's how come I got to pin Sergeant Slaughter. That's how come I got to pin Hulk Hogan.
You beat them all, man.
You
But
did.
That's what
You
Vince
did.
Senior told me. He said, everybody you could press slam, I want you to pin him. And he told him, he said, if Tony gets you up, you let him pin you.
Unless Patera at Shea Stadium and he's running away and you don't get the belt. You see, I remember this stuff.
But that would be, I had the green light.
Yeah.
He said, if you could get him up there, Tony, you could pin him.
Right. Right.
Backlund, or anybody, not just Backlund, I would have picked him up like this, and I would have threw him 6 feet into the audience.
Well, with that, I want to thank Mr. Tony Atlas for coming into studio. What a great interview! Holy cow, so
If I
much,
could pick up King
so
Kong
much covered.
Bundy.
Yeah, you can pick up Bob Backlund. If he's
You could
picking
pick up
Bundy.
everybody, brother.
Not now, but
Not
back,
now?
But back then, back in 1980, you know, hey, I'll tell you a quick story. I know y'all run out of time. If SD was here, he'd tell the same thing. Two things happened to pro football players with wrestlers. Number one, the Pittsburgh Steelers, a couple of guys came in the dressing room and started giving Bruno Sammartino some crap. Bruno kicked the shit out of him in the dressing room.
Right.
Two football players.
Yep.
We went to they had a bar that upstairs they had like a balcony where you could look down on the dance floor. Some guy, I was dancing with a girl, and he talking about, that's my girl. I said, well, she with me now. So the guy said, when I'm a football, I play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what we do is for real, what y'all do is fake. I'm sitting in my chair, I grabbed him, I pressed him on my head, I walked him over to the balcony, and SD tell me don't throw him. I was going to throw him off the balcony.
Oh my God.
Roughing, Mr. USA.
I had him up just like this. I was going to throw it. Another true story, if you ever talk to him, he'd tell you, William Perry refrigerator.
Yeah.
I was in the ring with him. I've got to bring you the picture. I got the picture. If you see the picture, you ain't going to believe it. They see the picture. We're in WrestleMania 2. William Perry, the refrigerator.
Yep.
So I locked up with him. He go, hey, you're pretty strong. I said, yeah.
I think.
So I picked him up like this. He said, this is his word. He said, don't you know this is stage? I said, ain't nobody told me nothing.
That.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's also what was that?
I got the picture of him doing this.
That is hilarious.
I got
great.
him up like this, and he like this.
Now you know I'm going to
great.
go look at that
Oh,
that battle
absolutely.
royal now and
Oh.
go watch that.
And you know
No
this,
doubt.
that's why
No
he
doubt.
mentioned me when they inducted him in the Hall of Fame.
Unbelievable.
He said, I'm so glad to be here with Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Because he came back to dress that night. He said, I thought you were going to pick me up and throw me out in the ring. He said, I've never been so scared in all the days of my life. He said, I never had nobody could pick me up that easy.
Jesus.
Unreal.
If you go watch
Unreal.
that match, Vince tried to block me as much as he can. But if you watch the Perry, just watch Perry when he go over that corner. And then every wrestler in that ring ran over to get me out.
Wow.
You know,
He's going to kill the fridge.
See, the referee got
Get him out!
where the referee got an earplug.
Yeah.
The microphone was in the ear.
Yeah, yeah.
So as soon as I went to pick up William Perry, Vince told everybody, get him the hell out of there.
You-
He did the same thing to me in the Royal Rumble.
Really?
I had this thing about me that I would say, yes, I'm going to lose. Yes, I do that. But then I get in the ring.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Once I'm in that ring,
Yeah.
forget it.
Yeah.
forget it.
Yeah.
You know, one time he asked me to put over somebody. I said, oh, yeah, I do it. It was Hercules. I do it. Vince said, oh, okay. I got in the ring. I told
You
Hercules.
think Vince would learn by now?
No. No.
I told Hercules, I said, well, he figured they could whoop me. That's why.
That's weird reasoning.
They
I don't
had
see that.
muscle, but they
Okay.
didn't have no strength.
But you had muscle, dude. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
what do I
muscle, because you got muscle on me, you got strength.
That's true.
like Dominic DiNucci.
Dominic has strength.
There you go. Thank you.
A lot of guys didn't have no muscle. The strongest guy we met in this business was a guy called John Leotha Jonathan. No muscles, but strong as an ox.
Strong ligaments.
Crusher Blackwell was another very, very strong person.
Well, the dude was 800 pounds.
No,
I
he
mean,
wasn't. It was
you-
4. You're
and
so
Crusher
bad.
was only like 5'8".
yeah, 800 pounds.
throw a drop
he
kick,
weighed
though.
about 350, but he was only
throw a drop
5'8",
kick.
so it made him look like a butterfly.
Oh, so he wasn't as heavy
and
as
he
the...
could jump up and drop kick you in the
Yeah,
face.
he could.
Look at Bam Bam Bigelow, the way he would run up and jump on the rope. I see a lot of guys that when you look at them, you wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think it. Right.
Danny Hodge could walk up to any boat and unscrew it with a finger. He used to get mad when they used to put him on first match. He would go in the shower and tighten up the shower, and nobody could take a shower that night.
I'll teach them.
All his strength was in his head. Ask guys about Danny Hodge.
Boy, the headlocks must have been a bitch.
There was wrestlers, when Vince was bringing him back, Vince stopped bringing him because he was scaring the other wrestlers. He was an old man then.
Yeah.
He's only like 5'7", 5'8". But Danny Hart, Bruno Sammartino never took a steroid a day in his life.
Right.
Bruno would walk to the gym, put 565 pounds on the bar and started working out with it.
How about Kofi Kingston? That guy's strong, too.
What? Go on, Tone. There's a flat chest in Hoboken.
We'll leave it at that. I want to thank Tony Atlas for being in studio. Next week, we've got the WWE's own Johnny Photo.
That's cruel. That was cruel.
Johnny Photo will be in studio. Johnny will be in the house. You can catch Monte and the Pharaoh on YouTube, Facebook Live on the Monte and the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Channel 115 every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 p.m. For the early risers, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And you will catch Tony tomorrow on RTF Sports Network on the drive time from 6 to 7 and cable this week. Tony, it's always a pleasure. We love you, my friend.
Thank you, Tony.
I'd like to say one more thing to people before I live. I was blessed to be raised in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And one thing I know that what made this country so great, it don't matter if you're black, white, blue, or green. Don't matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Catholic, religion, color, job description, none of that matter. One thing about us, America, when things get tough, we pull together. That's why they call us the United States of America, not the divided States of America. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or what your religion or what your political feeling are. Right now, we're in a crisis. All Americans need to get together, support each other, support your president. I don't care if you like him or dislike him. Right now, he's our leader. We have to go with him, and we got to wish him the best because remember, he's the captain of the ship. If he failed, we fail. So no matter if it's Obama in office or President Trump in office or if Joe Biden get office, whoever's in office during a time of crisis, this is the time for Americans to put together, support each other, do what they do, whatever you can to keep each other safe. Pray for those that had lost loved ones. I mean, I'm just so blessed that I have not lost a family member to this virus. It's for real. It's nothing to take for a joke. But if what's going to get us through this, and if for us to stay strong, believe in yourself. And I live by this motto. I kneel for God, and I stand for the flag.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
With
Thank you.
that, I want to thank Matt. Another great job producing the show. I want to thank Indie Music TV for producing us. We love being here. It's like a real television studio, right, Mr. Atlas?
Gorgeous. Absolutely wonderful. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my boys later on today. We're going to pop that lock. We'll come in here. We're going to steal this studio, put it in my basement.
There he goes.
Very good. I want to thank you for joining.
Take off running, get shot by a shotgun.
I want to thank you for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. This is Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh. Until next week with Johnny Photo.
Johnny Photo.
Later.